Hi guys, welcome to my channel. It's your girl Priscilla again, and guess what? We are back on the Hot Seat 2.0, and the interesting part is that the person I have here today with me was the very first person on the very first Hot Seat I did in the past, I think a year ago, Hot Seat 1.0, and that is lawyer Adugu, my very good friend. You guys enjoyed the video you watched and gave us about 500 views. We are very grateful. We are bringing you another great content today that you and I both need to listen to. Watch this, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Hi, Andrews. Welcome to my channel.
Hello, Priscilla, and thank you for having me once again. It's an honor to be
here. Yeah, you're back again.
Yeah.
I know I said I was going to have you back again, and thanks for honoring the hot seats, and I'm happy to have you here. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. I'm fine, and I hope you're doing good too.
I'm doing great by the grace of God. So today we have to make it very snappy, very quick. I know we have a lot to touch on, but today's topic is one that concerns everybody. We are already using this platform. If you're watching this video, obviously you're on the internet, you are a social media consumer, you're a social media user, you're a content creator. This video will be good for you. So today we're talking about social media use, the do's and don'ts, and the legal aspects. Since you have a legal brain on the board today, he's going to tell us the things we have to do and what we do not have to do when we are using the internet and social media in general. So, Andrews, over to you.
All right, thank you very much for this opportunity. You know, this topic is very important because social media is being used by almost everybody. Yeah. In fact, even in official circles, institutions here in Ghana and other places in Africa and even in the world go on social media. So the first point I want to say is that social media has now become a tool which is being used both for official and informal purposes. So let's have that at the back of our mind. To that extent, our behavior is subject to the laws that governs us. And for this particular discussion, I'll center on basically the laws in Ghana, since that is where I'm well versed. But most of our laws apply to other parts of the world too. So the first point, or the first thing I want to talk about, is issues of criminality. So, for example, if you have the naked photos of somebody, you are not allowed to publish those naked photos on social media or any medium that satisfies the requirements of publication. So, for example, if you have the naked photos of somebody and you want to get at the person, you cannot publish it on Facebook. Neither can you publish it on your WhatsApp status. Neither can you publish it on Instagram or any other place. Once you do that, one, there's an issue of criminality because you're publishing unseen materials, and you can be a subject of a criminal investigation, a possible prosecution, and a conviction and a sentence, to go and serve a prison term. That is one. Two, that same act would constitute a breach of the privacy of the person under the provisions of our Constitution. So whilst you may be breaching the person's privacy by putting out the person's naked photos because that's not meant for public consumption, you would also be attracting what we call a civil action, where the person may sue you for breach of the person's rights, and the person may also sue you for damages for whatever you have caused the person by virtue of you leaking their naked photos. I must also add that if you get anybody's private conversation, you chance upon them, you cannot publish it. It's a private conversation. You are not allowed to publish it. So if you look at publicizing pictures or even posting pictures alone, there are lots that goes with it. If you do not have the consent of the person to post, please do not post. If you do not have the consent, even if you have the consent of the person, it's a naked video or it's a naked photo or something of the sort, you can't be arrested and prosecuted for publishing obscene materials. The law does not allow you to publish obscene materials. It's wrong. So if you look at just what we call the civil aspect, somebody taking you on for whatever you publish about them, you can look at the privacy issues, you can look about the criminality. All these issues is just one aspect of the use of social media and the internet as a whole. That's just one aspect. Because the other aspect about even using people's literary materials or people using artistic work and passing it off, making it look as if you are the one who has written that.
This is deep. So we can even take that one aspect and talk a lot about that. So the fact that you've told me to post your naked picture doesn't mean that I can go ahead and post it. Exactly
so. You see, because it's your naked picture and it's obscene, the law does not allow you to publish obscene materials. So somebody, the owner of the picture himself, can even put you in trouble. You will be charged with the person who instigated you to post that naked photo. Or even if you are asked to post a naked photo of another person, let's say A asks you B to post the naked picture of C, A and B would all be arrested, investigated, and prosecuted. So it is not just about this person whose naked picture you're posting. If somebody tells you post another person's naked picture, you'll be arrested, probably for abetment, for conspiracy to commit the crime of publication of obscene materials, and you find yourself behind bars.
So what if A told me to post their own picture, A's picture, and I post the picture and B? Will A be in trouble even though A gave me the consent? Will A be charged as well in addition to me?
Well, in a civil action, when it comes to A taking you on, A cannot take you on because A gave you the consent. That's a civil action. That's an action between you and the person. Now, for the criminal action, if it's an obscene material, it's a naked photo, even though it is the person's naked photo, the person is not allowed to publish the naked photo. So if you do, we will come after you. And obviously you say, oh, it's the person himself or herself who asked me to publish. Then we'll go after the person for instigating, encouraging, procuring you to publish an obscene material.
This is eye-opening. Wow. Okay, let's get into it. I see.
So we have other people who also do what we call Sestoshi. So you get in touch with somebody on social media, you get interactive, and the person tells you, send me your naked picture. Now, I should make this point. Never should you ever send anybody your naked picture, be it your boyfriend, be it your girlfriend, or any other person. It's a no-no. You just don't do that.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, that person, when later the person falls out with you, or even the person may behave like the person loves you, any other thing, that person can use that as a bait to be demanding money from you in order not to publish that. So when you're doing that, that is sextortion. Or they may have sex with you, record the video, and tell you that if you do not give me so and so amount of money, I am going to publish it. And we have had a number of cases like that. A lot of young ladies are falling prey to this kind of acts of people. And some people will tell you, okay, if you don't do it, I am going to publish it. I need so and so amount of money. Anytime anybody, you mistakenly do such a thing, and somebody is demanding any amount of money from you, yours is to report to the police. Now here in Ghana, we have the cybersecurity unit, which deals with all of these matters. So if anybody does anything like that, when you report to the police, the cyber unit would investigate the IP address and all that there is to get the person. So you may not even know the person. You may try to trace the person, you may not get the person, but they have means and ways of getting such people. And we have had a number of cases like that where the people are being prosecuted for sextortion. So that is another aspect of it. There's also what we call cyberbullying, where people decide to just insult you, people decide to make you feel less of a human being. And it goes a lot of people trolling people on social media, and others have committed suicide because of that. So cyberbullying is one key thing that people do. Anything that you do that makes a person feel less of a human being, that makes a person feel that, oh, I am not fit to be whoever I am, that's one key thing we should watch. So cyberbullying is key. So before you pick your phone to type, ask yourself whether you're not bullying anybody on the internet.
This is very educative. So if somebody is extorting me and says, if you don't give me so and so amount of money, I'll post your naked picture. Is that classified as blackmail? Was that extortion?
Well, yes, that is blackmail. But even in the criminal sense, here we'll call it extortion, where the person is trying to use that kind of material to be able to get at you. And as I would say, the first thing to do is to report to the police. Because the truth about it is the person already has the video. And no matter what the person does, even if you send the money, there's no guarantee that the person has even deleted it. So never be fooled by thinking that by giving the person the amount of money, that will not happen. But the first thing I say, prevention is better than cure. So don't even let anybody record any private affair you have. For God's sake, it's private.
Yeah. I wonder, my next question you already captured, and I was going to ask, so you should reinforce that the person should not go ahead and pay any form of money to anybody, but you've already mentioned that. So, okay, let's go on. I'm enjoying this.
So the other things we'll look about is copyright. So since we are talking about do's and don'ts, you don't copy somebody's article on social media and pass it off as your own article. Definitely you wouldn't do that. You don't pass it off as your own article. So when you see anything on social media and you copy it, you must attribute it to the person who wrote that particular article. So if you write something on social media and I copy it and I post anywhere, I should attribute it to that written by or copied from the wall of Priscilla, like Kumah or Priscilla, Kumah, or whatever name that there is. Because there's what we call intellectual property rights. We have what we call the economic right and the moral right. Now, the moral right is your right to be attributed to whatever you have written, because those are your ideas, those are your thoughts which you've put together, and you can even make money from that. A quote alone, an artwork or something of a sort can be used. I mean, you can generate money from that. So, for example, the musicians who sing, you don't go and copy somebody's song and pass it off as your song. So intellectual property rights also come in. And if it is also found that you have used somebody's work, intellectual property work, to gain money for yourself or to pass it off as your own money, as your own work, literary work or artwork or something of the sort, that is subject of criminality, because then you are posing as someone who you are not, and you are using that to make money. And that person can come out, you can make a report to the police, you can be arrested for those fraudulent conducts.
Wow. This, I can just imagine how so many of us have committed this blunder. We always copy people's posts, or we screenshot it and use it as our own without giving credit. I know several photographers in Ghana who always fight under big media houses comment section. This photo is from me. I took this photo on this day. Give me my credits. And people don't just give credit. They just post the photos and go away. So I'm learning something. Okay.
Yeah, it's important in these days, especially on WhatsApp and Telegram and others. You see people just forwarding messages. So one of the things you must do is that you must be careful when you see any message. One thing I've realized that people don't read messages fully. So you just see the title of a message, it interests you, then you pick it and send it. There might be some level of criminality if the person is asking for an insurrection or the person is asking for something which is criminal, and it is found that you forwarded such messages and those messages were even false. Those messages were false. In Ghana, we have what we call publication of false news. If you are found that you publish a false news, the state can come after you. So don't just be in a hurry to forward anything that you see on social media. Verify, verify, verify. Don't be too quick to forward messages you just see. And don't be too quick to send pictures of people who are nude or things which are happening and you think that, okay, well, it's not from me, I should forward it. You should be more cautious when it's messages that you have absolutely no authority over.
I think people also have the mind that they can't find me, they can't try to track me, so they just hide behind the keyboards and type whatever or share whatever, thinking that they cannot be tracked. But you can be found. That we should make clear, that they can find you even though you're hiding behind your keyboard or keypad or something, right?
Yeah, definitely, you will be found out. And the interesting thing about it is that they say the internet never forgets.
Yeah.
So you may have posted certain things, you may have said certain things about people. And I know currently that for some embassies, they would go through your Facebook post to see the kind of post you put up. Yeah. Some job interviews you go to check whatever you have posted. So for example, if you're somebody who abuses people, if you're somebody who is, you have some racial tendencies, you made certain comments, you've made certain statements which are deemed to be calling for some insurrection or some sort or something of a sort, or maybe it's disrespect to women or it's abusive or something like that, you could just be surprised that one comment alone could let you off. Yeah. One comment alone could just let you lose that job.
I have an experience. I happened to witness one over here in the US where I work. I have this colleague I used to work with, and there was a random Facebook post about somebody being aggressive towards the manager at work, some random Facebook something. So the colleague I work with, she commented another post that the employee being aggressive towards the manager was right. She said something that aligned with she supporting the whatever the employee did to the manager. So they called it to the office at work in real life and said, we saw that you supported an aggressive comment on Facebook. That means you have the tendencies of being aggressive towards your next manager. But prior to that, the person had little things, absenteeism and other things going on. So they base it off that comment that she wrote under some random post out of work, sometime, some weekend, having her own good time. And they fired her because of that post, because they see you as somebody who is likely to be aggressive towards your next manager. I think the photo, the person had slapped the manager or something. So they said you might do that in the future. So that's how she lost her job.
Well, yeah, what you're saying is very true, because I've had a personal experience of somebody's comments alone on social media being called up in an office and even subject to a query. So we just have to be very careful about things like that. WhatsApp groups, the way we comment on social media and stuff like that. If you do not understand or you do not know the meaning of a word, please check it out before you write it. Don't just copy blind.
And also, if you think you've deleted it, it doesn't mean it's gone out of the web space. It's hiding somewhere. So you post and delete, but it's not totally deleted. So, yep, please go on.
Yeah. So, we've talked about issues of generally Sestoshi and others. Now, one interesting thing is that people do not know that when they post stuff about children, they are subject to in certain jurisdictions. If you post you have child pornography or any material like that, you can be in prison for a very long time. So it's also not only about what you post, but what you are allowed to be on your phone. Because if anybody sends you any materials about child pornography or anything about some sexual abuse of a child or something like that, and you keep it on your phone, there are some countries I know when you're entering, once they find anything like that, you may be considered as a pedophile, you may be considered as an abuser. That's why you're promoting that and you have that on your phone. So please, when you have anything on your phone, check them and delete those stuff like that, because it may land you in trouble. You may be completely innocent, but by virtue of, let's say you're accused of a sexual offense, and they see a lot of these pornographic materials on your phone or on your device or on your laptop, what the inclination would be, the thought would be that, okay, you seem to have all these materials. So that means that, just like you said for your friend, you gravitate towards things like that. So we must be careful about the materials we download or we allow to be on our phones, our computers, and others. It's very, very important. Maybe the next thing I'll quickly add is generally respecting people's privacy. Now, if you pick somebody's phone, you need to ask permission before you even go and see their pictures. You need to ask permission before you decide to read any text message or something. Even if the person shows you, or read this particular text message A, you have no right to go to text message B or scroll up or scroll down to see what other conversation that is there. You have no right. You are breaching the person's privacy. So I allowed you to look at a particular picture. I didn't want you to look at other pictures. You have no right to scroll or switch to any other thing. You just have to be careful about that, because you might land yourself a civil suit, or you might land yourself in trouble just by virtue of breaching somebody's privacy.
One thing YouTube is very good at is trying to stop you. They have different, before you upload one video on YouTube, you have different stages you have to go through. And one of them would ask you, is this video made for kids? So you either say yes or no. Then if it's safe, they have they can put a copyright tag on your thing, and you have to edit that part out before the uploading process can go through. I remember I made a video where I went to the slaughterhouse. We went to buy a whole cow and killed it and everything. That video was blocked from certain countries because in certain countries they worship the cow, and it was a very bloody video because there's slitting of the throats and all that processing. So only very few people could watch that. It couldn't reach a lot of people because it was bloody. It was not safe for kids, and most people can't stand blood. And some countries cherish cow and all that. So they try and have these blockades before it gets to the consumer. Same with Facebook and Instagram. Very little thing they block you. They are trying their best to stop it, to reduce the rate, but people still type in their local languages and dialects and abusive words and trolling people and all. But let's see, hopefully one day it'll get better. I don't know, but please go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, having mentioned all of these, you realize nowadays that when people upload songs, even when they do videos and they upload a song, maybe the song is playing at the background, they'll tell you that I have no copyright to the song at the background, and things like that. So it's something that we must all learn. You put up a picture or you put something else, once it's not your work, you just let it be known that this is not your work, or you credit that the song is by so and so person, or the song is by that other person. So it's key for us to understand these few things and to comply with them. But the other thing is that people actually use other people's phones to make posts. So somebody gets your phone and decides to use your phone to make a post. So if you don't have any password or anything like that, and the person gets your phone, the person can make a post as if it is you. Now that is criminal. That is very criminal, because then you are passing off as the person, and for want of better expression, I'll say you are impersonating the person. Yeah, so those who hack people's accounts and stuff like that also, aside the just normal using somebody else's account to post, there are also those who hack. So you must also be aware of that. If you hack, you are committing a criminal offense. So there are a lot of things that people do that they think, oh, this is just a joke, I'm just playing, and you would find yourself at the wrong side of the law.
We need to take this very serious, because I don't know whether it's like a trend these days, but so many people in the limelight, people who act movies, people who sing and stuff. I think multiple people have access to their social media, because sometimes they are not running it by themselves. They are not posting the things by themselves because they have a manager or a handler or something, and they have a fall apart with that so-called manager or handler, and they come online and cry that somebody has seized my password, somebody has logged me out of my account, and I don't know how that works, but I've seen series of people. There was a very young, talented girl who sings in Ghana who lost her account. I think she's about 12 years old, and the manager took the account from her. And anything you can share about that? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I get the point. So for those who have social media pages and those pages are being managed by other people, the best thing to do about this is to enter into a contract. So if I'm managing your page and you're paying anything, I'm supposed to pay anything to you, obviously, there should be a contract. Just get the document signed. Just sign. Just do a contract and get the document signed. Now, when you do that, what happens is that if the person decides not to allow you access to it, you can definitely take the person to court. And if somebody creates a social media page for you, remember that if you do not have any contract saying that, oh, create it for me and I'm going to pay you, or it's going to be free, the person can say, well, I created it for you. I created the password and everything. You allowed me to use your name. And that was the agreement between us, and the person can take over the page. So it's important for you to look at the future and for you to have at least some form of control over some of the accounts which are created in your name. And it's very key for us to know exactly what to do. and to do it in the right way.